JD, both games now against the Nuggets, it feels like it's come down to the final minute. What are you seeing from your perspective on why it's coming down to those tight moments?
Yeah, two really good teams competing at a high level. Two teams, that have elite players on their team that can make a difference, that can start runs, that can stop runs. Two teams that understand, the selflessness, the physicality, the toughness that it takes to win, at this level. So it's just two really good teams going after it. And we've been fortunate enough to come on the right side.
What are you learning about your group in those moments when it comes to going through adversity and being able to close out games like that?
Just the understanding of it. Offensively, what we're getting to. Defensively, like being able to lock in and make adjustments down the stretch, depending on who they have on the floor, their personnel. Jokic, obviously, and Murray, obviously create a unique, advantage for them. And then our guys, I thought, did a really good job of figuring it out and how to compete and get stops when we needed it most.
Took control in the second quarter. I think you won by 14 points. What did you like, especially defensively in that stretch, just holding them to 6 field goals?
Yeah, I mean, it was, how aggressive we were, how active we were, but then how, our defense led to easy offensive opportunities. I think especially to close that second quarter, we were phenomenal defensively and explosive from defensive stop to offensive execution. I thought that was great, and that's who we need to be, in longer stretches.
Hey, Coach, I remember in training camp you talked about the advantages this team will have when it comes to using their athleticism to get up and down the court. Can you just speak on, how you guys were able to win the fast break battle and how that was a testament to this?
I mean, that's when we're at our best, is when we're pushing tempo and forcing people to have to find us. There was a time there where I thought we did get a little bogged down and had to play against their half-court defense, which I thought they executed pretty well tonight. But our advantage is in, with our speed, athleticism, and then being able to make quick decisions. But creating those opportunities is what we want to do, right? We want to get deflection, steals, block shots, defensive rebound, and then be explosive because that's what we feel we're at our best.
JB, I can imagine it's a dilemma late in games when maybe you want to have Dennis out there for offense, but you want to have Asar out there for defense. What's the calculus in the last 4 or 5 minutes? Because Asar seemed like he had Jamal Murray locked down pretty much for the first half.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of what you need at the time. If it feels like teams are trapping Cade a lot, being able to have DJ out there so that he can bring the ball up the floor and we can get Cade in different spots on the floor without everybody staring at him, obviously, or whether or not, depending on the feel of the game, what you're doing defensively, if that's getting you stops and getting you into transition, excuse me, that gives us an opportunity. And so you just try to weigh those things in the moment. Like if your defense is getting stops and we're not being explosive and we're going to be in the half court, then it feels like you need to have another ball handler with Deuce so that you can kind of manipulate. If you're getting stops and getting out, then it feels like you can leave that defensive group on there more.
I mean, early in the game, Valanciunas and Stu got into it. Normally, that's a situation where Stu would engage. He literally got up and walked away. Are those things, is that maturity? Is that a conversation you've had with him to not engage, that he could be a target? What was about that moment that you saw?
I mean, it's a constant conversation, and I was extremely proud of him. I was disappointed in the outcome of the decision that was made. To me, and that's why I ended up getting a technical foul. I just don't see that as a basketball play. And so anyway, but I thought Stu was, absolutely awesome, and just walking away, diffusing the situation. I just hope, that people recognize that, and he continues to get those opportunities, isn't being judged, because of history or what people's opinions are of him.
Hey, Coach, I'm stepping away from this game a little bit. I'm not sure if you know, but it was announced during the game that you will be coaching Cade and JD during the All-Star game. Just wanted to get your thoughts really quick on that.
I did not know that. But, I'm excited about it. For it to be JD's first, my first, is going to be extremely special that we get to be together. And then obviously being able to be with Cade from his first to now his second. What it says about our group and what we've accomplished to be able to celebrate that together. It's a big deal, and I don't take it for granted. It's, one of those moments that, hopefully 10 years from now, you look back on your career and you think about it, and you understand just how special it is. So I will be present, in it, and I won't miss the moment because it is special for all of us.
JB, in last week's game with Denver, Tobias came up big, and then tonight he has a big shot there at the end and plays some key minutes for you guys. When you're in games like this, competitive games against, teams that are also going to be vying for the playoffs, how important is what he does, not just scoring, but how he leads the team?
I'll repeat it again. He's the Detroit Pistons safety blanket. He's dependable. He's reliable. He's competitive. He's thoughtful. He understands the moment. He's not afraid of the moment. And there's so many different things that he can do. You know what I mean? It's a shot. It's a stop. It's a rebound. It's a screen. It's just his understanding of what it takes to win. And then his ability to just go out and do it with courage and ferociousness.
Well, pretty cool moment there as J.B. Bickerstaff learned that he will indeed be coaching his guys for the Team USA Stars. You can see Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Cade, and J.D. He'll have Ant, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, and Tyrese Maxey. That is a good-looking young squad, if I do say so myself. Not that the stripes are anything to sneeze at. And then obviously the world team. So again, round-robin format coming up here in a couple weeks out in Inglewood, California. But all excitement as we all gear up for All-Star Weekend with plenty of Detroit representation. All right, so big trades around the NBA. Deadline's coming up Thursday at 3 o'clock. We'll tell you who's on the move. It's coming up next. You're watching Pistons Live, presented by Ausar Thompson. Just doing a little bit of everything here tonight. What do you know about 10 points, 6 rebounds, had a couple of steals, 3 assists. AT, he's reigning now. Defensive Player of the Month for January, but great all-around performance. And again, it's not really surprising, but right, when you're starting to depend on that in year 3 of him just being an absolute, menace, yes, when he's out there, like it's just a beautiful thing, and it's a harbinger of things to come.
Yeah, listen, he went out there, and we've got some evidence to show that the people were not wrong when they voted this guy as Defensive Player of the Month, because he was everywhere. He was active. He was on the glass. He was running the fast break, scoring, defending, all of those things that contributed to winning tonight. Ausar Thompson was a part of. I mentioned that Cade Cunningham was just about involved in every possession on the offensive end of the floor. Well, a lot of the defense was triggered by Ausar Thompson's energy and effort. Yeah. Again, kudos to him for making that Defensive Player of the Month.
Yeah, really good stuff. Stu in December. AT in January.
That is outstanding.
What's coming in February?
2 of the best players on defense back to back are on the Pistons.
That's unreal.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. All right, let's hear from Ausar Thompson now.
Ausar, JB mentioned this was, 2 really highly competitive teams competing tonight, and what we saw last week too with the final minute, being very back and forth. What, just from your perspective, do you feel that level of competition comes down to in that final minute?
I feel like at the end of the game, it comes down to who wants it more, who's going to get the loose balls, who's going to be the most disciplined, who's going to go back to, their strategy and do it the best. So I feel like we did it the best tonight. They're a great team, but, we came up victorious.
What are you learning more about this group being in these close game situations, from maybe the start of the season to now at this point?
I'm learning we're comfortable. I feel like we used to get nervous when we would but when a team would come back or we would be down in the fourth. But now, we see it and we know what to fall back on. And I feel like that's what makes us a great team.
You got Defensive Player of the Month. Just what does it mean to receive that honor? And the Pistons, I think, have had the number 1 defense since December 1st. So just reflecting on all of that overall.
It means a lot, I was shooting for it. Me and Stu were talking after he won it. He told me to go win it. I was like, we might as well keep it on the Pistons, next month too, whoever it is. But no, it meant a lot, and I'm trying to keep going.
Asar, it was a game last year, at home that you guys beat the Nuggets. And, at that point, JP said your guys' confidence level as a whole really kind of, changed. Whereas now it seems like, this year, any night, any opponent, it seems like you guys just expect to be the ones that are going to go out and dominate the game. Do you notice that difference when going up against, whether it's the heavyweights like Denver and, just what does that kind of just attest to?
Definitely. I feel like, we used to go into games, a team like Denver, like, all right, we got to beat Denver. But now it's still the same thing, but it's not necessarily looking at them like they're Denver, but looking at them like their opponent that if we do the right things, we'll end up winning the game. And we know if we do the right things, we'll end up winning every game.
Initially, you guys had struggled a little bit against zones so far this season. You guys were able to attack Denver's zone pretty well tonight. What was the adjustment?
We just rep it out a lot, I don't want to say any adjustments, but we just be aggressive. That's the adjustment. When you get it, be aggressive, look at the basket, and, test the zone.
Time now for FanDuel's thrilling play. It is not Asar Thompson, but it is Javonte. Woo! Javonte Green. Look at that.
Up high and down hard. I love it.
That was big time toward the end of the game. Again, this guy can get it done. This guy can get it done. Some high flyers on this squad. You can roll up to the mansion, Grant Long, with a bonus.
What mansion?
Yeah, exactly. New players get 500 bonus spins to play on Huff and Puff Money Mansion. Plus, get up to $1,000 back on any first day net loss. What mansion?
Well, in my house, there are many mansions. You can see me later for that one.
So we mentioned the NBA trade deadline's coming up Thursday at 3:00. I want to reset for those of you maybe tuning in for the first time. We found out during the ball game tonight a reported trade that has landed. If you look to the right of your screen, James Harden to the Cleveland Cavaliers from the LA Clippers. Darius Garland, part of that deal, headed west. So Schroeder goes to Cleveland, just working left to right here. Jaren Jackson now in Utah. Kevin Huerter comes to Detroit. Jaden Ivey to Chicago. Anthony Simons goes to Chicago from Boston. And then Vucevic from Chicago to Boston. But on the 27th of February will be when the Cavs are here in town. So let's take a look at the Cavaliers, what their likely projected starting lineup will look like. That's a good team.
It is a good team. And they probably needed to make a move, Johnny, because there was so much heralded about this team coming into the season, considering how they went in last year. Very good team. Defensively, they were very sound, but they sputtered out of the gate this year. So they needed to make a move. They just were not going to be as good in this season as they were last season. Too many other teams in the East got better when they didn't. So this is their attempt to get better. You get rid of Garland. Now you pair James Harden up with Donovan Mitchell, who is having an outstanding season. They've already got solid defense in Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
They're a very formidable opponent right now.
Yeah.
Instantly, they got good.
Yeah, East is shaping up. It's going to be a fight to the finish, certainly, with Boston, New York, Cleveland, Detroit. The Pistons are playing 3 games in 4 nights. They were able to frustrate Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray just enough tonight. And now you got the Washington Wizards coming in here on Thursday. Alex Sarr, he's a problem. Wizards right now haven't had, obviously, a very good year, but they've got some good individual talent.
You hit it right on the head, Johnny. They have talent, and when that talent plays well together, they're a pretty good team, and that's what the Pistons have to face. So coming into a game against the Washington Wizards, you have to make sure that you're going to be disciplined and run your stuff and not get caught up in, hey, this is my time to shine.
Right. All right, so it'll be a good matchup coming. And again, just keep in mind, it is trade deadline day on Thursday, so there'll be a lot of movement, a lot of activity. We're going to get you up to speed with everything we know with the late breaking news. Hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We will see you again Thursday night at 6:30 right here on FanDuel. Pistons Live, always presented by Cure Auto Insurance.
Good night, Romulus.